Hello, welcome back to the Canyon Heights Ward podcast. I am Gregory Gene Conrad, the host, and today we are lucky enough to interview President Anderson. I believe you prefer to go by James.
Well, I would actually like to go by James Frederick Anderson III, second to the throne, if you will.
Okay, James.
But no, yeah, you can call me James.
Yeah, you threw me off with that.
Thought I'd be speaking your language there, Gregory. I thought you'd like that one.
I just wasn't expecting it. So a good place to start is the beginning. So tell me, what's one of the earliest memories you have?
Oh gosh.
Or just an early memory.
Let's see. I think one of my earliest memories was a birthday party that I was the youngest of, or I am the youngest of 5 kids, born and raised down in Silver City, New Mexico. And so we had one city swimming pool, and my parents decided to rent out the whole pool for my birthday one year. And they invited all of our friends from church and all my little friends. And I just felt so special to have that whole swimming pool area to myself, and, to feel celebrated. And, like the youngest of the family is always an attention seeker. And so, I just thought, oh gosh, this is finally, I'm getting the spotlight I deserve. So that was a pretty special moment.
Cool. Other not earliest memories, but just childhood. You said you were living in Silver City.
Yeah, so had a great childhood. 2 big brothers, 2 big sisters. Really great big sisters who were always so worried about how I looked. And so they would never let me out of the house unless I was color coordinated. So I thank them for any fashion that I have today, because they, I would be wearing a red shirt and red sweatpants, and they'd be like, no, you come back in and let's dress you properly. So thank goodness.
That would be color coordinated.
Right. Well, that's why I was like, red and red, that just makes sense.
Yeah.
And then 2 big brothers that, beat me up and just kind of taught me how the law of the jungle works, kind of thing. They definitely put me in my place.
Yeah.
So that was, how big brothers can be.
Tell me about your parents.
Okay, so my dad is just kind of one of these guys that walks on water. Just a good old boy from Arizona, been a member his whole life. I don't think he's actually sinned his whole life. He's just one of those men that is just so good, honorably served in the church. He was a pharmacist for a little while. He hated being a pharmacist, so he went back to school and became a dentist. And because I wanted to be just like him, I grew up in his dental office and just learning the smells and the sounds and the screams and things. And so I thought, gosh, that sounds like what I want to do. So that's how I got off into dentistry.
Kind of like being a rock band singer, you just get used to all the girls screaming.
Yeah, different pitch, I think, different type of scream.
Different.
And then my mom is a convert she joined the church in Minnesota. Her family disowned her when she joined the church, moved out to Utah and met my dad. and they just fell in love. Went with
BYU?
they no, they actually were at the University of Utah.
Okay.
And so they were in Salt Lake City, and they moved around. We finally wound up in they were in Salt Lake City, and then we wound up in Silver City. And she was is an artist. And so if you ever come to our home or my dental practice, you'll see all of her artwork up. So I'm one of her biggest fans. But
Sculptures,
paints. She makes her own paper and presses it. She, when I was a kid, I'd bring friends home from high school, and she'd be out just welding these giant garden sculptures. Just really just creative. We'd pass by.
Wait, go back. What about a sculpture?
Yeah, she knows how to weld. So she would weld giant half-ton garden sculptures that my dad and I would have to move around. She'd build them, put them out.
I assume because it's welding, but right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but I mean, she would find big chunks of junk around town and weld it to this piece to that and make these beautiful creations of art and then sell them for thousands of dollars. And me and my dad would have to move them around, like take them wherever. And she had a really nice gallery down in Silver City for a long time.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah.
So what age did you move to Silver City?
So I was born and raised there. So that Silver City,
okay,
was all I knew. And going to Las Cruces, New Mexico was a big deal. That was big city for me.
Yeah.
So you can imagine Albuquerque. I mean, you might as well be in Tokyo or something. This is metropolitan for me.
So like did you go on trips growing up?
So once a year, they would take us we would do a family drive down to Mexico, to the beach in Mexico.
Okay.
And that was our big family trip. And it was really fun. But here's the thing about having a dad who was a pharmacist. He would say, okay, take your medicine. And then all of a sudden you'd wake up and you're in Mexico. Whatever concoction he gave us, he was a genius.
Something like this recently about.
Yeah. Oh man, it was like it was melatonin times 1,000 or something. I don't know what he gave us, but he was smart. He just conked out 5 kids for a 13-hour drive, and we'd wake up on the beach and have the time of our lives.
It's hilarious. So did you do surfing or just swimming?
Well, no, we just swim, jump the wave. There was this really cool cove there that if you woke up early enough in the morning and the tide had pulled out, you could just go and search for all the ocean creatures in the tide pools. And so that was my favorite thing, just poking at sea urchins and finding little funky fish. And I found an octopus once that attacked my hand, and I freaked out. And this just cool stuff like that. Like when you're a kid, that just being at the ocean is better than Disneyland.
Yeah. I had very different thoughts and experiences with oceans.
Oh, really? Is that not your favorite place to be?
Water. Well, I guess so. When I was a child, we'd go up to Seattle because my great aunt and uncle lived there, and we would go out there, and I remember good things back then, early childhood. um I don't remember, like, so I didn't swim or surf. It was more like we did the game where the waves are being pulled back into the ocean, and then they come back, and you try to go back with the
Oh
wave
yeah, yeah.
as far as you could, being dry, and
Right.
uh,
Yeah.
never get wet. While
And
all
that doesn't last too long, does it?
Yeah, it doesn't. It doesn't. Um, but it was. I, I remember thinking it was a blast, and something about, we had watermelon, and we saw a whale's fin appear out of the ocean, and
And that's always so cool because all of a sudden it's like, oh yeah, stuff lives in there.
yeah.
I mean that, yeah,
And
there's a lot of life under the surface.
later on, that was what just drove me away from the ocean. Get me away from this body of water where all these things live and eat and
and
get
and
rid
digest things.
of. And I just
Yeah. Oh man, I can see it all over your face.
yeah. I mean, so all the rest of my family, they love going to the beach when they can, and I just I'm along the coast, jumping from rock or log to log, trying never to touch the dirt. Um,
Oh, that's great. Well,
so
so one of my older brothers, one time we went to Mexico and we got to the beach and it was a Sunday. So my parents said, okay, we can go on a walk on the beach, but nobody, we're not playing in the water until tomorrow. And so kind of the same thing, we started playing that same game, like, oh, who cannot touch the ocean? And then like, oh, well, let's just get our feet wet. And then let's just jump a couple waves. Next thing you know, one of my older brothers is in the waves and he's lost his set of glasses in the ocean. So for the rest of our lives, my parents have used that as a Sabbath day lesson. Like, well, if you don't keep the Sabbath day, God's going to take your glasses and your eyesight. So, yeah, no, I get you. The ocean's full of all kinds of life lessons.
yeah, yeah. I mean, I love watching documentary things on sea life, and octopi are very fascinating
Yeah.
to me. And
Did you watch
I
my
imagine
octopus
part of
teacher?
what?
Did you watch my octopus teacher? That documentary?
Uh, I don't
Oh,
know. So I guess more so just when it's on PBS or whatever. I don't even know what. Just I don't choose it. It's dad's watching stuff, and then there's an octopus, and then oh well, this is
do
interesting.
it.
um, but I imagine part of being freaked out when it grabbed you was they're pretty strong, right?
Oh yeah, they don't let go. And
Yeah.
when you're a little kid, you feel like it's gonna eat you, or it's like the creature from 10,000 Leagues Under the Sea. You think you're gonna go, your hand's gonna be chewed off or something, or suctioned off. Yeah.
Cool. Okay, so let's advance in time.
Okay.
Um, how was adolescence? How was high school?
Oh, see, I had so much fun in high school because I didn't take anything serious. It was all just a big social experience for me. So I was just really active in sports. You know, Silver City's so small that it's easy to be a big fish in a little pond there. So, yeah, I played tennis, as student council, drama, just whatever. Whenever there was like a way to get out of town and go on a bus ride to go see something else, I
Yeah.
jumped at the chance. So yeah, I had a great high school experience.
Yeah, I did too. A lot of people say they didn't have such a good time, but I had a blast.
Yeah, yeah.
Like
Did you have to go to early morning seminary?
I did. Yeah. You, you
And tonight is, I think, seminary graduation.
right at 5.
And I'm so proud of these kids because I didn't graduate seminary. I did three. I know, I did 3 years, and then my 4th year, my senior year, I just kept sleeping. So my dad tried to homeschool me with seminary, and I would just lay in the hall under my blanket, and he would read scriptures to me. So I think they gave me like an honorary, like a slacker diploma, like you're saying. But I wish I had gone the distance, but yeah, that was tough, those early mornings.
Yeah.
My kids got to have it as part of one of their periods of school, and I was like, you don't learn anything that way. There's no suffering there.
Yeah.
Come on.
And yeah, I look back at those times now, and I'm just like, what time did I wake up, mom and dad? Because now
Oh
I
yeah.
sleep a long time. Mornings are they almost don't exist for me. But the thing about high school was it was this miraculous time period in my life, because growing up in elementary school and especially middle school, people hated me. The kids hated me. And I know that wasn't my paranoia, because one time in teacher parent conference, the teacher said something like, well, you know, the thing about Gregory and the other students, they all respect him, but none of them like him.
Dang, Gregory, what were you doing? Were you just a big old bully or something?
Oh, I was just this too squeakily clean kid that just didn't fit in to all of the stuff that was going on then. And I had a hard time. It got better as I in middle school, and even better in high school. But from the earliest stage, one of the first signs of the OCD was that I would be cutting something, and I'd cut like a millimeter too far, and I'd just start bawling. I had failed the assignment, and more so, I had failed the teacher, and so the teacher was mad, and
then you probably couldn't let it go. Where you probably stayed up that night thinking, like playing it over in your head.
Yeah. And and so I mean, they held me back. I was in kindergarten 2 years because I cried so much. And I didn't really make that much progress the second time, but they're like, we have to start getting him through stuff.
Yeah, we gotta get yeah, your teachers they're getting sick of you. They're like, we're not taking him for another year. Come on. Push him through the system.
And later, 5th grade, it was hard. There was a lack of teaching going on, or lack of homework, which for me was just like, what's going on? I don't understand. What is this? And so, my mom, my parents were very actively involved in my education and
Nice.
talking to teachers and things. And
Yeah, your parents seem pretty great. You kind of
yeah,
lucked out on the parent front there.
yeah, they're pretty good. But just through one of their meetings with teachers and stuff in fifth grade, they learned, because we were the idea was maybe you could put Gregory in another class where the teacher is does more homework, and they're like, I'm sorry, we can't do that. We already created a classroom of students around him that were the least likely to bully him.
Oh,
So,
shoot.
and just when the teacher got mad at the class, I thought she was getting mad at me, you know.
Yeah, right.
But
Yeah, yeah.
I'm taking over this interview, so
Yeah, you're trying not to take it personally, I'm sure. Oh man.
back.
But that's good. Well, I'm glad high school kind of turned
But
around for you.
right,
And
so,
you got that great beard. You probably started growing a beard when you're in high school. See, and
no,
I was a late bloomer. I couldn't grow a beard. I still can't grow a beard. So
I couldn't grow a beard until I was like 25.
oh, see, that was how I was. Okay.
Yeah, but the thing about middle school into high school was ninth grade, I had open heart surgery. And I
Now,
think
did you really have open heart surgery, or is that just what you tell girls to get them to sympathize for you? I mean, honestly.
no, I had open.
Okay, well, I don't.
Not a girl that I'm
Well, I
trying.
don't know if that was just a pickup line or what, but okay, that sounds like a good story. Tell me more of that.
I mean, so I honestly think that, they realized, oh, he wasn't pretending this and this, and gee, we kind of treated him badly. And
Oh,
so when I
geez.
got back, it was amazing. Everyone was my friend. And it's
Yeah.
been
Oh,
that
I bet.
way ever since. And so high school was a blast. I was in chorus and went on a bus trip. But all right, again, I'm kidding. So tell me about you. So after high school,
Yeah. So let's see. After high school, I started. After high school, I did a semester at New Mexico State University in Las Cruces. Go Aggies.
that's
I
the big town.
Yeah, my big town down in southern New Mexico. It ate me alive. I thought I did okay in high school, but I was not prepared for university. So I did that, and I didn't do well my first semester at all. And that's what I always tell college students. I'm like, that first semester, just remember, it's not going to go well, or it's not, at least it didn't for me. And so thank goodness I went on a mission after that first year at state, and
Did you go?
I did a lot of growing up on my mission. So I got called to the Monterrey, Mexico mission, and I had a great time. One of my, I think it was my branch president in the MTC gave me a blessing, and he said, you're going to have a harder time leaving the people of Mexico than you did leaving your own family. And that served to be true. I fell so in love with the Mexican culture and the Mexican people that still to this day, uh, so many of the people that I employ and the people that I treat. I purposely started in the South Valley just to build up a patient base that was largely Spanish speaking, because I don't know, there's something that I just love about the culture. I always joke with them that I was born I came out of the wrong oven. I was supposed to be born on the other side of the border, but it was great. So I had a really great
Where
mission
where is
experience.
Monterey?
So it's kind of their industrial hub of Mexico. It's ugly as sin, and we are north of Monterey, so we are on all of the border towns with Texas. So I mean, we're not talking like
So very close.
Cancun, Mazatlan, Puerto Vallarta, Mexico. We're talking like drug cartel city, like all the dry, windy, nasty parts of the border towns with Texas. So it was pretty rough and tumble, but it was great. I had a blast.
Did you have any cartel converts?
No, but we had some ruffians. Like we had a lot of I guess like those that had been affected by the cartel, because we had a lot of drug addicts that we would try to teach and bring back, and that never went well, but it made for a lot of great stories. Yeah, and I mean, everything happened. I got Dear John on my mission, so that was good. So I feel like I'm a real missionary. Yeah, and then I came back, after those 2 years, and I kind of screwed my head on a little straighter. But now I will tell you this: when I came back, I really thought on my mission, I figured my life purpose was not to be a dentist. It was going to be a telenovela actor. I just knew that was my calling in life. So the first thing I did when I came home from my mission was I got into the drama or the theater of the college I went to, and I quickly realized that it wasn't for me. I wasn't that good at it, but it was fun. It was a lot of fun acting in Spanish.
Yeah, I love acting, and that was my major originally. I mean,
Yeah,
it lasts too long.
well, you have the voice for it. Like you have that deep baritone. You have a good stage voice.
Oh, yes, thank you. And a lot of range, a lot of character to it. And if you want to listen to something, you can go to GregoryGeneConrad.com and click on audio reels, and that's the end of self-promotion.
Oh man, that was unabashed right there, wasn't it? Well done. What do you read on there? Are they just different readings?
With the OCD, I've had so few regular accomplishments that people look at as mile markers. So I'm just like, want to share something.
There you go. Good.
And you brought it up, and
I'm glad you snuck it in there.
Yeah. And started, well, so I did a bunch of dramatic readings of The Hobbit in the YSA ward, where I used different voices for different characters, and I really need to be quiet because we're talking about you. I'm sorry. So telenovela didn't happen.
Didn't happen. So yeah, so I turned my focus back to medicine, and with my dad being in dentistry and my mother being an artist, I thought, oh, medicine and art, it makes a perfect dentistry baby. So I decided to start getting ready to go to dental school. And I was at New Mexico State, and I worked my tail off to go to, get my bachelor's there. And I also majored in Spanish as well, just because I just couldn't give that part up. I just loved the Spanish language. And so I got accepted to dental school finally out in Kansas City at the University of Missouri, but I didn't know how I was going to pay for it. So that's when I applied for an Army healthcare scholarship, where they essentially pay for your dental school, and then you pay them back 4 years of service after you get out of dental school.
You said
so. I'm sorry.
You said the Army.
Right. So, which was, so that was funny, because if you ask anyone from my high school if they could imagine anyone in their high school class being in the military, they would have said anyone but me. In fact, my mom would, when I was a kid, and she would have to, she would try to scare me into being a good boy. She would always say, I'm going to send you to military school if you don't behave. And so it's so ironic that I wound up in the military at all, because I'm just, those people that have trouble with authority and with following rules and things. That was me.
That reminds me of Dwight D. Eisenhower. Yeah, he got into the military academy, the Marines one, the West Point, I think. He just, it was peacetime, so he just was goofing around all the time, not taking anything seriously. He just got in it so that he could ride horses. And then the war happened, and then he's like, well, okay, I guess I better get my head in the game. And thank goodness he did.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
He it's to victory. So
well, and so it ended up being a real blessing. Because I have this huge aversion to being in debt. So I really didn't want to get into debt going to dental school. So I just did it very much out of selfish reasons. So I went to Missouri. And Missouri was an interesting place because we actually moved to Independence, Missouri. And, Liberty, Missouri, Liberty Jail was only 10 miles up the road. We had all this church history around us, and we just thought, man, we're moving from New Mexico, and all of our green chili and our heritage down here, and we're going to go move to like the most white bread place ever. But when we got there, to this little ward, it was all folks from Honduras, from Tonga, and from Samoa. All these big groups had moved to Independence because they wanted to get front row seats to the big show. And so it was crazy. There was this mass migration of saints to Independence. And so all these really colorful wards were put together, and so it was just so much fun, because here we thought we were going to be in white bread wonderland, and it was anything but. So we had a chance to be in this ward with really interesting cultures.
Cool.
Yeah. So dental school lasted 4 years. And then I joined the military ranks full time. I was a reservist during those 4 years of dental school, and then I went active duty, and I applied for a specialist position in Hawaii, and I got to go live in Hawaii for 2 years. And so, if you ask my kids where they're from, one was born in Missouri, one was born in New Mexico, but they'll tell you that they were born in Hawaii, because those are their first memories.
Yeah.
So there, yeah, going back to the beach, Gregory, though, we were just meant to be in the ocean, I guess. So during my residency, I didn't see a whole lot of the ocean, but I was pretty much locked up in a hospital the whole time. But the family got to go to the beach a lot. And I have a feeling that I probably met Bishop Yao at some time in my life. I like to think that.
Yeah.
There's a million people on that island, but still, I like to think that we met at some point.
Yeah. Okay, so it's been very saturated with this topic with our lives, but let's more explicitly get into God and how it sounds like you were born a member, you were born in the covenant.
Yes, that's right. That's right. Yes.
And so you went on a mission and things. Just tell me something.
Yeah. So I was went on a mission, came back, went through dental school and stuff. I found out real quickly that the military life wasn't very conducive to just a very well-rounded spiritual life, or at least I didn't let it be, and so I got way off of track and kind of lost my mind. So I actually fell away from the church for 10 years plus, and so I kind of tried doing things on my own, tried forcing things through my life, tried going just down kind of those strange roads where you just think that you can do it on your own, the arm of flesh mentality. And finally, after a divorce and just some bad relationships and things, I kind of hit rock bottom and figured out that I just was lacking having God in my life, having direction and stability. And so that's by that time I had actually moved back to Albuquerque, and I showed up at church one day at Canyon Heights Ward, and there's this guy, some baritone bearded man, bard, up at the microphone giving a talk about neurotransmitters and how the gospel works with neuroplasticity. Anyways, this guy named Gregory Conrad was just speaking my language, and it was the exact message I needed to hear at the time. And I went home and thought about it for a couple of weeks and thought about how that all made sense. And it was just like, wow, I need to get things back in order in my life. And then I just one more church experience.
Yeah.
I really wanted to, I asked God, can I feel the Spirit again? Because I'd gone so far left. I'd just become so numb to any spiritual feeling. I just kind of thought I was past that point. And I prayed and prayed. And the next Sunday, I decided to go back to church. It just so happened that Katie Maybe was singing, one of her musical specials. And it just hit me. She just, the Spirit was so strong. Only the way music can reverberate through your soul sometimes. It just went right through me, and I was just like, oh, I can feel the Spirit again. And of course, with the help of a lot of family and a good support system and great bishop and stake president, a few years later, I was rebaptized in the church. You were there. And, a year and a half later, had a return of my blessings. Met, I think, pretty much the only wonderful single girl left in Albuquerque. Sorry, Gregory, I got her. but met her. We got married. We got married right back here, right in front of the fireplace. And a year later, we were sealed in the temple. We blended two crazy families together. That's made for just a firework display of fun. And yeah, and so we're just doing it. And you know, it's just, we've just been abundantly blessed.
Yeah. I just feel like I need to say that there are a lot, because I've been in YSA wards and mid-singles wards, and I don't doubt your point, but there are a lot of beautiful, saintly women.
No, I'm sure, you know, yours is
You weren't saying anything against that. It just in my mind, I could hear some sister that I know saying, "Well, what about me? Are you gonna stick up for me?" And
no,
but
see, you got to understand when you find
her.
her, Gregory, when you find her and she's out there, she's going to be like the only one in existence anymore. So you'll understand when you get there. And if I find her for you, Gregory, I'm going to get you guys set up so quick.
Well, if you find a girl that needs that goes to the rock climbing gym and can use a partner, I just lost one.
Oh shoot! Okay,
that would be a perfect opportunity.
Okay.
And now all these people watching are going, gonna.
So Gregory, what you're telling me is I just bore my whole soul to you, gave you my whole story. And all you picked up out of that was a selfish notion about a girl for you. Man, how about that? Oh, buddy. Okay. The shame on me, right?
Are you being serious? Because you know I don't understand.
I'm just messing with you.
Okay. Like, no, that's not the point at all. That's not the point. Oh my gosh, I really don't have that censor in me.
That's why you need friends like me, Gregory.
Yeah.
That's right.
So what has nurtured your testimony the most during your adult life?
You know, honestly, it's the strange thing is when the first few times I went to the temple, I was so confused. I wasn't sure I wasn't prepared, and I wasn't sure what was happening. If my dad hadn't been there, I probably never would have gone back. And it was before I had my own personal conversion, it was one of the things that it caused a lot of doubt in me. So it's so interesting that the temple, my own temple worship, has been probably the biggest factor in my reconversion, my reinforcing of my nurturing of keeping my spirit strong. And so, yeah, if there was one thing, I mean, of course, you know, daily prayer and staying close through modern prophets' words and ancient prophet words, but I would say temple worship would be my number one testimony builder.
Okay. I'll skip any reply on my experience because I talk too much. Do you have anything else that you'd like to share before I wrap up with the last question?
No, this has actually been fun. I was pretty excited. I was telling everyone today, I'm doing my first podcast. So this has been a lot of fun. And thanks for letting me tease you a little bit. And thanks for teasing me a little bit. I had a lot of fun.
Okay. So and now I feel like I also need to make clear that your wife is wonderful. I have no doubt about that. You know, she's
1 in a million.
Anyway, last question. If you could send one message 100 years into the future for your posterity to hear, what would it be?
Ooh, wow. You know, I would say you need to keep your family together any which way you can. Like whatever sacrifice you need to make, keep that family together. And you have to laugh, really laugh with your gut and your heart every day. That's how those are the things that have made my life rich and bearable.
All right. Well, President Anderson, thank you for sitting down with us, and we'll set up a time in the next few days to visit with your wife.
Yeah, you'll be in for a real treat.
Who is lovely and exceptional in every way.
All right. Thanks so much, Ed.
Yeah.
Fun.
Bye.